Yesterday, a group released an album. That sentence is usually the whole story. This time, it is the smallest part of it. On the 21st of August, ENHYPEN released the Sin BLISS, 8th mini-album, 10 tracks, title track Bloody Paradise, and it is the first record they have made as 6. In March, Heeseung left. This is the first time anyone gets to hear what the group sounds like without him. Start with what is actually known, because the gap between what is known and what is felt is the entire subject here. The 6 are Jungwon, Jae, Jake, Sunghoon, Sunoo, and Ni-ki. Heeseung departed in March of this year. Since June, he has been releasing music on his own, under the name ENGENE. The last ENHYPEN mini-album, The Sin, VANISH, came out in January. So this record arrives about 7 months later, into a completely different room than the one that was there in January. Now the part that makes this worth an episode rather than a post. The reaction to that departure was not the usual noise. There were public protests, and there was a petition asking for clarity on the circumstances of his exit, which passed 1 million signatures. Sit with that number for a second. 1 million people did not sign to say they were sad. They signed to ask a question. And the question has not been answered. Not by the company, not in full, not publicly. I want to be careful here, because this is the point where a story like this usually goes wrong. A member leaving a group is not a scandal by default. People leave jobs. Contracts end. Someone can decide, at 20-something, that the life they signed up for at 17 is not the life they want, and that is allowed, and it is nobody's business. A company declining to detail a personnel matter is also not proof of wrongdoing. There are real legal and personal reasons not to narrate somebody's exit in public, and some of those reasons exist to protect the person who left. So this episode is not going to tell you why he left. Nobody has said. I am not going to fill that silence with a theory, because a theory told confidently enough becomes a fact somebody repeats. What I can talk about is the structure, and the structure is genuinely interesting. Stay with me, because before the second half of this makes sense, you need one idea about how these groups are built. If this is your kind of story, the like button helps more than you would think. Subscribe and turn on notifications for the biggest ones as they break. Now, let us get back to it. A K-pop group is a fixed shape. That is not a metaphor. It is close to a technical description. 7 members means 7 positions, 7 line distributions, 7 parts of a formation, 7 faces on the poster, 7 photo cards in the album, 7 of everything. The number is load-bearing. Fans do not follow a band the way you follow a rock group, where the bass player can change and the thing survives. They follow a specific configuration of specific people, and a lot of them have a favorite whose presence is the reason they are there at all. So when the number changes, everything downstream of it changes. The choreography has to be rebuilt, the vocal lines have to be redistributed, the visual grammar of the group, who stands center, who opens, who closes, has to be redesigned. That is what an album like this actually is. It is the first public evidence of that redesign. And here is the asymmetry at the center of it, which is the thing I keep coming back to. The group has to answer the question with the work. That is the only tool they have. 10 tracks, 1 title track, a concept, a comeback stage. But the question was not about the work. The question was why. And the work cannot answer why. It can only demonstrate that the remaining 6 are still here and still functioning. Which means the most likely outcome is that this record is judged well or badly on its merits, and the actual question stays exactly where it was, unanswered underneath it. Take the vocal lines. That is the least abstract version of this. Every song in the back catalog was written and recorded with 7 voices in it. Those parts are not interchangeable. A part written for one singer sits in that singer's range, in that singer's tone, with that singer's particular way of landing the end of a phrase. When the group performs those songs now, somebody else sings those lines. That is not a small production note. For a listener who came to the group because of that voice, the old songs are now a different experience, permanently, and there is no version of the future in which that is undone. The same is true of the choreography. Formations are built around a head count. 6 people cannot stand in a 7-point shape. The shape has to be rebuilt, and every rebuilt shape is a small, visible reminder of what changed. And there is a commercial layer to it that nobody enjoys talking about, but which is real. A lot of what a group sells is per member. Photo cards, individual concept photos, member-specific merchandise, fan call slots. Some fraction of the people buying were buying because of one particular person. So a departure is not only an artistic problem or an emotional one. It is a measurable commercial event. And the company on the other side of it is making decisions with that in view. That is not cynicism, it is just the machinery. And it explains why the silence is a decision rather than an oversight. It is also worth saying that groups do survive this. It has happened before, more than once, and some of those groups went on to do the best work of their careers afterwards. What tends to decide it is not the quality of the next record. It is whether the audience is given a way to understand what happened. People can accept almost anything they are told honestly. What they struggle with is being told nothing and asked to carry on as if the shape was always this shape. There is a second person in this story, and it would be strange not to mention him. Heeseung is now Evan, and he has been putting out his own music since June. That is a normal, unremarkable thing for a musician to do. It is also, for the audience, the other half of the same event. The same week that 6 people release an album as 6, the 7th is somewhere else releasing his own. 2 catalogs now exist where there used to be one. Whatever the reason was, that is the shape it left behind. So, what is actually worth watching, as opposed to speculating about? First, whether BLISS Lab says anything further. 5 months of silence after a 1 million signature petition is a decision, and decisions can change. Second, how the group handles the absence on stage. Live performance is where a 6-member arrangement of a 7-member catalog either works or does not, and the old songs are the hard part. Third, whether the fandom splits. Some will follow both, some will follow one. That is the number nobody publishes and everybody in the industry watches. Fourth, and this is the one with consequences beyond this group, whether the petition becomes a template. If 1 million signatures produce no answer, the next fandom learns something about what petitions are worth. One last thought. There is a version of this story that is about blame, and it is the version that gets clicks. Somebody did something to somebody. Pick a side. I do not have the facts for that version, and neither does anyone else outside a small number of rooms. What I have is this. A group made a record with 1 fewer person than it used to have. 1 million people asked why and were not told, and the record still had to come out yesterday, on schedule. 10 tracks, 6 members, 1 question, still open. Thank you for watching.